which is incredible. All right, so I might as well just get into the Roadhouse deal with the amount of time I got here before the break. Okay, so I always talk. Yeah, I haven't talked about movies in a while because we get into so many other things. I didn't even barely talked about the Oscars this year because I didn't see any of the movies, and I don't care about movies after 1997. That's what it comes down to. But when you come up with a news story about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months ago, sometime last year, they said, hey, they're making a new Roadhouse. I said, oh, well, who's going to be in it? I said, well, Jake Gyllenhaal. I said, okay, that's the Dalton character, right? And I was right. And they're also going to have Conor McGregor. And at first, I know the movie so well. And, of course, I live in northern New York. I'm like Tim Fossil. I know in every aspect of that movie. And I'm thinking, okay, Conor McGregor is either going to play the Sam Elliott character, or he's going to play Wesley, which was the guy that ran the town, played by Ben Gazzara, and neither which. So when you do a reboot, I understand that you got to do things, you got to contemporize it, if for the lack of a better word, where okay, that took place in 1989. Now you're going to move up to, the 2020s, right? Okay, people are going to have smartphones. You're going to have nicer cars. Girls aren't going, are going to shave everywhere a part of their body, unlike what they did in '89. So there are differences, but to take the movie and completely rearrange it in such a fashion where it's it's unrecognizable. I don't get that. I really don't get that, and I see it so often. They did the Rocky Horror Picture Show remake on Fox about 7, 8 years ago, and it was completely different. And then you see, and this touches home too, the original Willy Wonka with Peter Ostrom, who lives in Lewis County. He's a retired veterinarian. He did one movie. And it was by far probably, in my opinion, the best best performance by an actor younger than 13. Peter Ostrom. There's a lot. That's a big list, by the way. That's Shirley Temple. That's Patty Duke, although Patty Duke is up there, obviously, for the Miracle Worker. But neither here nor there. This was one of the greatest. And, of course, who could forget, now I'm forgetting his name. Well, of course, Wonka himself. And his name escapes me. He's a famous British actor. Nonetheless, that performance and the low budget that they had, fast forward 30-plus years later, Tim Burton and destroys it. He absolutely uses CGI effects, the Loompa Oompas. Gene Wilder. You can't beat that performance. And you bring in Johnny Depp with purple teeth and a goofy smile, and you put him on a CGI screen, and all the Loompa Oompas were played by one person. I don't want to get off the beaten path, but I've seen so many remakes that are completely different than the original, and I wonder, why did you do this? The original became a classic because it was done in such a fashion. You go to Jasper, Missouri, you go to a desert town in the daylight, and you talk to people, and you set up the story, and you have your fights in the beginning, and then your fights at the end, and then a huge climactic ending. All the bad guys are dead. A polar bear fell on me. All that stuff. And as goofy as that movie was, made no sense. It was still entertaining. Entertaining enough to absorb an audience for decades. How often do you watch a movie and go through the horn, so to speak, when you go through the channels, and you see Roadhouse, 1989, you stop on it, just like you would for The Godfather, Goodfellas, and other movies, Wizard of Oz. It's Shawshank Redemption, although Shawshank Redemption's on way too often. So is Forrest Gump. So I might have mentioned this last week. I tried to watch the first 3-4 minutes, and I realized right off the bat the reboot, the Roadhouse. First of all, everything was shot in the dark, like in a damp basement. And most of the times you can't see the characters, and I don't know why that is. The fight scenes were very, poorly. I don't know how to put it. They just looked unrehearsed, or rather too rehearsed, or too goofy, and nothing matches up to the original. So I don't want to labor I took too much time, but to me, I had such anticipation, like, wow, hey, they're gonna go back to an '80s classic and do it with Jake Gyllenhaal, and maybe they can make Conor McGregor a good guy and making him the Sam Elliott character. No, not at all. In fact, you don't see Conor McGregor for maybe half the movie, at least 50 minutes, and once you do, you want him to go away. It's just Conor McGregor being Conor McGregor. I don't like this music. like this madman with a one wood in his hand he just picks up a one wood and starts attacking the band for no reason. That didn't happen in the original. So anyway, it's on. I don't even know Roku had a channel, but it's on the Roku channel and it's on other Apple TV. Don't waste your time, and please, if you could, I know I'm a pain in the ass when I talk about the old and today. You know, of course, the Jim Levins of the world will always say, "Oh, it's all relative. The movies today are just as good to those who see it for the first time than not that like you did back 30, 40 years ago." Ho, ho, ho. It's like, no, you can make the comparison. It's called, videotape. You can make it into a video file. You could stream it on any device and watch it right now. And if you could tell me that the one that just was released on the Roku channel was as good, if not remotely better than the original, then I will just shut the hell up for the rest of my life. You can't. You can't do that. It's impossible. So Hollywood proves it again and again and again. And the easiest way to prove how bad Hollywood is to go back and try to reinvent a classic movie. And we've seen it so many times in this, another example. And for those, and again, a lot of my friends, I have a lot of friends who commented, "Oh, I didn't think it was that bad." I'm sorry. You really, really have to, you have to take a look at yourself and realize that this is not the way movies were made. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, you're listening to the Live at 5 show here, and it's about 29 minutes after the hour, and we'll be back right after this.